Hi, and welcome to the Flute Talk Podcast, where we talk about all things flute. If you're looking for more tips or lessons from Amelie, please check out musigy.com for all the sheet music, transcriptions, albums, books, and flute lesson packages. That's musigy.com, MUSOGY.com. Also, if you're looking for posters, fingering charts, or merch, you can head over at our merch store at store.theflutechannel.com for all your flute needs. If you want to help us on a monthly basis, you can also consider joining us over at Patreon for as little as $2 a month. This helps us make more great content for you. Check the description for more info. Finally, if you're looking into buying a flute, please consider using the Flute Center of New York and use our code TFC for a 10-day trial in trying 3 flutes. Check the description for all the details. Now on with the show. Hi everybody, welcome to the Flute Talk Podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Amelie.
How's it going, Emily?
Good, how are you?
Good. So it's the last episode of the year. And we had 2 milestones this morning, which is really cool. We surpassed 125,000 subscribers, which is cool. That's amazing. I didn't expect that we were going to make it for that, but we did. And also, what was the other thing? It's our 60th episode as well. We've done 60 of these over the past 4 or 5 years.
That's cool.
Usually we do it at the last Sunday of every month. We're here live on YouTube, but if you're listening to us over on your podcast of choice, come and join us every last Sunday of the month. And you can talk to us for about an hour. We usually do about 45 minutes to an hour each time. And we also encourage you also to go over on Patreon too as well. That helps us out tremendously on top of, everything that people give us here in the super chat and all that stuff. So if you miss us here and you want to support the podcast and support the channel, go over to Apple Podcast or go over to patreon.com/theflutechannel. And you can donate as little as $2 a month and upwards. And that just helps us out to make more stuff for the channel and everything like that. So it's a bit of an open-ended podcast episode this month.
Yeah, we can answer questions.
Yeah, totally. We're trying to give it out to you guys more because, it's a little bit to celebrate. It's also the holidays. Hopefully everybody's having a great holiday as well.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be the time to finish projects if you have a little bit more time on your hand, or just play for fun.
Yeah. And
play
start
old stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Go through your repertoire or whatever.
Yeah, and start new projects. Also, we're inching towards resolutions or whatever you want to call those things, New Year's resolutions, if you believe in those things or pursue those types of things like that. That's coming up as well. Maybe you want to practice more scales. Maybe you want to do a 5K marathon. Who knows? You never know.
It's good for your breathing.
Totally.
But I can't run a 5K, but I can breathe okay for the flute. But but I was thinking also maybe it's just about how we see resolutions. Like maybe people put things that are a bit too measurable in a way, or too
quantifiable.
high,
And then you don't reach it, or you only reach halfway.
Yeah, aiming towards something, because very often we see things as a switch, on-off switch. I got it, I didn't get it, but it's more of a process. As long as you're in the right direction in that process, and even sometimes you're not, but as long as you're aiming, those are good times, usually in January and also in September. I tend to do that when it's the beginning of the school year. I don't know, because, what do I want? It's good to stop sometimes and ask yourself what you want. It doesn't need to be I want to lose 20 pounds. It doesn't need to be that precise.
Right. But also in a way, it don't have to be that precise, but maybe leave that goal, but then leave room in your head to be if I don't make it to that, it's completely okay.
But maybe
at least you've achieved, at least you went to you tried.
Yeah, but maybe it's healthier to say something eat healthier and move more.
Totally.
Because in a way, you can control that, but do you really control exactly how many pounds you're going to lose? Because sometimes it's some,
because at the end of that year, you're kind of saying, did I eat healthy? Yeah, I did eat healthy a little bit. So that's the purpose.
Healthier than last year?
Yeah.
And did I move more?
That's a good way of thinking too. Yeah,
and
totally.
same with music projects. Did I want to improve my sound, or I want to improve my sight reading, and then how am I going to get there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, those are things like that. And, there's certain types of you just can make different types of projects. You can make different types of goals. You don't even have to do any goals. You can just keep going with your life and do all those types of things. But yeah, and it's also like I said, it's the vacation. I'm sure a lot of people have been learning a lot of Christmas tunes, and now Christmas tunes are now weighing to the side a little bit. But maybe people
Yeah.
still listen to some stuff
It's still
during this
Christmas
week off.
time. Like it's not like we're
Yeah.
removing all our decorations
No, no, not at all.
the next day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, and then the new year will come with new stuff, and I know that we're almost finished a bunch of our projects, and those will be coming out soon. Now we're just taking a little break, but then going back into it and getting all those things done. And yeah, what were some of your like best type of, just to kind of jump back to like goals and stuff like that? What were some of the most like proud goals that you had when you do make goals? Like, do some stand out for you? I know for me, the book that we did was a big one. That was a pretty big goal.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy about that. Yeah. But usually, like, I feel that sometimes to do the work, because I have how would I say that? I have a tendency to dream a lot and plan a lot. And you're very good at sitting down and doing it.
Okay.
And I'm getting that from you. And like the important thing is the process, really.
Yeah, process, yeah.
Just sit and do it. And
And
then
the process,
at one point it's
exactly.
done. Like
Yeah.
if you had told me, 6 years ago, that I had to make 300 videos or something.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
videos do we have?
A lot.
Around 300,
Yeah.
something like that. I would have said like, no way. But it's just the process. You do one and then you do another one. And then
Right. Exactly.
after a while, you're like, what? I have all those videos, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Same with the book. You say,
Yeah.
today I'm going to do 20 minutes on it.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
yesterday, you said, you're working on Christmas? I said, I feel like it.
Yeah, exactly.
I worked like 30 minutes, an hour.
Yeah.
I was happy about it because I felt like doing it.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to finish this accompaniment for a piece in the second book.
Yeah.
And I finished it and I was happy about it,
Yeah, when you think of process and stuff like that, like, it doesn't mean like I'm going to work on it until I basically fall asleep or until I get it done. I won't even sleep because it's not going to get done unless I do it. Well, no, like process is like you said, 30 minutes or 10 minutes. That is part of process, and then you can take a pause and then do other stuff and then go back. Like doesn't mean that I stopped here. It doesn't mean like I'm never going to finish this. Oh no, you'll go back to it and finish it. There's no you're only racing against yourself, I guess, if you want it to be that way. If you want to look at it
and
that way.
sometimes if you see the goal, the huge goal, it's too much. Like it's better to make it in little pieces and be like, I'm gonna do this part. Okay, this part is done. Now this part, just one thing at a time, because it can become overwhelming. But yeah, I guess those are things that I'm proud of, in terms of goals. Taking care of those things and yeah. But I can't wait to finish this one. This one is huge. This
the
next
second book? Yeah, sure.
And so it's a lot of work and a lot of revision to make sure there's no mistakes and all that stuff. But
yeah, and if you're not familiar with,
exciting.
exactly, it's exciting. And if you're not familiar with that, if you're just joining us and just learning about the channel, learning about anything, there will be a second book, which is the intermediate book. We have a beginner book that's already out, and an intermediate book which will have about 20 lessons of gradual lessons that are both video and PDF that will guide you to get to a certain like intermediate type of level, more to the abilities to be able to go out and play in a band, go out in a wind band, or go and be creative and play certain pieces or learn new pieces after. And it's very concise. It's going to be over 100 pages, easy. That will be with supplemental material.
Yeah.
Yeah. So similar to the other one. So, but like you said, more vast, more material, really tailored material to how you would teach a lesson.
To bring you from beginner to really like intermediate.
Yeah.
And then you can
debut intermediate. Yeah.
Like when you're done, you're really an intermediate player. I
Yeah.
guess when
you're going to have
done that book,
confidence. You're going to have.
And then you can go in the advanced stuff.
Yeah.
Or not.
Or not.
There's people that are like, in any instrument, there's also adults that, I don't get, they get a bit angry that they don't get better at their instrument. But, at any level, there's a lot of pleasure to have from playing music. And even if you stay at a certain level, as long as you're having fun, there's a lot of repertoire you can play. There's a lot of, but usually people get better. But I'm just saying, it doesn't always have to be that mindset of getting better.
Mm-hmm.
It can also be the fun of playing music.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the case of a book like that, the goal is to get better. So I
Right.
made it so that it would help you build your skills.
Exactly. And it's been 2 years officially. I think we released the first book 2 years ago on December 26th, I think. I think it was around just now. So that's interesting. And it's taken us 2 years to make this new book. So it's, like you said, it's really tailored. It's really nice and tight type of book. And it's really how you would teach personally, so you're not missing out if if we have too many students, it's not missing out the core, and then basically the rest is
pretty much the methodology that I would use.
Exactly. Yeah. And nothing really else. Like we have a bunch of new videos that are going to be coming out soon. We have, I think, La La Land's going to come out and a couple other things. And then some other stuff too. Hopefully we'll have a nice batch of stuff for everybody over on the channel to watch and learn. But also just leave us comments as well. We love hearing from you in the comments in all the videos. We try to read as many as possible. I think we're almost at 100% rate of reading almost all of them. So leave comments, leave, requests. We have a long request list, but,
what are the most asked questions, you would say?
Oh, still how to get a clear sound of the flute.
Yeah,
how to get a clear sound thing. That's number one. Yeah. And clear sound, we have this thing. I remember in school, all of my other classmates who were flutists, they're all like, I want to get this clear, pout sound or clear sound or any of those types of things. I'm like, well, you have to realize, see that person live and you stand next to him as you are to me, you're going to hear a blast of air. You're going to hear a fuzzy sound. Those microphones that are recording these people or going from people, you don't see the microphone on the screen, or you don't necessarily, and you can't see it in an actual audio recording, but those microphones are far away and physics plays into that whole thing and air dissipates. So you don't hear that. What you get left in the microphone is pure tone. All that air and stuff, the closer you put the mic to you, you're getting more of that air potentially. Yeah. So we're kind of disillusioned, we're sort of lied to a little bit by the recordings and stuff. And there's people who are mastering it and adding reverb, changing the tonalities.
Yeah, of course, if you play in a small room that's very dry, you'll always feel like your sound's not that good. And if you go and play in a bathroom, or in a
shower, hall, staircase,
then you're gonna be like, oh, my sound's amazing. It's so But really, like you said, our perception of our sound is not necessarily what it sounds like, let's say, 5 meters away. And because your ear is so close from your mouth.
Right.
So when you play, you hear all the little fuzziness, like you said. But there's also bad air. There's both. There's a little fuzziness that's part of the flute sound, and that makes it project. And then there's the shh that's not nice because maybe you don't know how to, where to send the air on the embouchure plate, or maybe, maybe you're smiling too much. Yeah. Sometimes people do that, but
I've been
people spend way too much energy on their embouchure usually, and not enough on the
air
abs, and the air stream, and how to breathe in and how to push the air out.
Yeah, and how to use that air and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because air speed, I would say, is more important than. Yeah. Once you have a good sound on a note, look in the mirror and look at your position, and your position throughout the whole ranges should be very close to that. There's going to be minimal movement, but it's very small.
Totally.
If you see that you're moving your embouchure a lot, move less. Yeah. Find your best note, and it should look like that.
Yeah. Make a phrase from the lowest note to the highest note you can do. Make a phrase out of it. The airspeed from low to high will change. Yeah. It's not going to be the same. It doesn't work. It just won't work. You won't even get to the middle notes without airspeed change, Yeah.
There's a little angle change too, but
Angle change as well.
it's very small. So if you move too much, then you're gonna lose your sound. You know?
Exactly.
And also sometimes people they are scared of notes, and then they tighten their body, and then they stop blowing.
Oh yeah, you can see it. Yeah, you can
know?
sometimes see it in them.
Very often, when we're scared of notes, then we crack them.
Yeah,
It's a lot to do with confidence as well, and being relaxed and confident. But that comes with practice. You can't just be relaxed and confident the first time, because you don't know if you're going to get it. If you've done it 5,000 times and you know you're going to get it, you can be confident.
Totally.
Yeah.
Vivian has a question here. She wants to know, I was wondering, how do you do slurring legato? Because I'm a beginner flutist.
Okay. So let's say you're playing.
Do you want to use your flute? No?
Maybe. I'll see. Okay. Let's say you're playing not legato, detached, you know. So you give a little tonguing on each note, like ta 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 ta, like that. Yeah, I'll take my flute, I guess. So yeah, you'll give it a little. Ta 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 ta. So I still blow the whole time. I go, but my tongue is stopping the air. If I want to do legato, I just don't tongue. So I just go, and I move my fingers. So ta, like that. So that's it. Usually start doing that on easy notes. Like do it between G, A, and B, because you don't have a lot of fingers moving. So it's easy, it's easier. Do that. Because if you do C and D, almost all the fingers are moving. So you're going to be more tempted to stop blowing. Because beginners tend to stop blowing between each note. Beginners tend to do this. You know?
Yeah, too, yeah.
Instead of and just move the fingers.
Because that just makes that whole airstream is going from super fast to super slow very quickly, and it makes that weird.
It's just they stop blowing because it's difficult when you're learning all the fingerings, learning how to read, learning all those things at the same time, to continue to blow at the same time as you're thinking, what's the name of that note? And it's too much to think about. So usually beginners do that a lot, and then it dissipates by itself.
Totally. Very interesting. But even I think I saw a comment with Louis Boutin. He was saying clear tone, yes, but listen to some jazz players and there's a breathy sound to them. It seems to be a style, except Hubert Laws. He played classical first. Yeah, and also, like I said, in jazz, mic placements on jazz stages or in jazz recordings for wind players is microphone as close as possible to the instrument. So you're going to hear all the...
But it's also part
sounds, you know.
Yeah, but it's also
it's a style.
Part of the aesthetic of jazz.
Yeah, and it's totally the aesthetic.
The sound is a bit more windy. Plus, I think one of the reasons for that is that a lot of jazz flutists were originally doublers.
Yeah.
So their flute sound was not as good or as pure as a flute sound from someone who only plays the flute. But then it kind of became the flute sound for jazz, you know?
And and just realize, like, again, if there's a microphone, there's a guy who's on a mixing board turning down your high S's or increasing them to make them even more, you know, like they're doing stuff that manipulates your sound. It's not...
but there's a different in the way they... you don't have the same embouchure.
No,
if
not
you're
at
playing
all.
Saxophone at the same, like...
Yeah, it's a different type of sound.
Embouchure. I guess the muscles don't develop the same way.
Yeah,
but
different things happen.
But also sometimes people have a different sound, just the way they are. And I had a friend in university, super good musician, but he didn't have a classical sound. And his teacher was like, "You don't have a classical sound," and he couldn't really get that sound. But who cares? Because he was doing a lot of traditional music and different styles, and he could improvise and. He plays a lot now, and he has a nice career, and he just didn't become an orchestral flutist.
Right.
But there's different styles. There's different. Just find who you are, really, instead of in a way. but it's still like you still should work on your sound.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
But like
there are different aesthetics, and sometimes when you get to a certain level, you can realize, oh, I'm more of this or I'm more of that.
Right, exactly. But yeah, like that's our number one question, really. I think we get that. We get a lot of things about.
Because the sound is difficult on the flute.
Oh
It's
yeah,
the one
sound is
thing,
very difficult on
getting
the
a
flute.
good sound and that is reliable every day. That when you take your flute, it sounds good. It takes a while.
Yeah, how to get a clear sound, how to get rid of air in your sound. Those are still pretty well liked and well commented. Also, how to play high. You know, a lot of people want to know how to play high on the flute because I guess if I really think about it in band, from when you start playing in a elementary school band, or maybe you start in high school, you're starting at low range to mid range, and there's very rarely put high note. There's rarely put high notes. Like there's rarely that in some repertoire until it gets there, and then students don't gradually get to high notes. It's sort of abruptly put on them. You know, play a high E or play a high F. You know, and
Plus, for most people, it's more difficult to play high notes than low notes.
Yeah, exactly.
But it depends on the person. But
yeah, and the methodology of how band teacher or your own teacher is going to teach it to you. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a big one too. We get that a lot, and vibrato.
So it's usually sound related.
Of course.
More than because the flute is not that difficult to play fast.
No, you can really mask a lot of things by playing fast. So you can really get there.
No, but what I mean is it's not the instrument that it's not the difficulty of that instrument. It's
really
it's
not. Yeah.
Sound, having a good sound throughout the registers, having a good sound in the higher notes, all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like high notes are a lot of them are more like harmonics. Some of them are like that.
Yeah,
so
it's true. Harmonics.
You have to know how to blow them. You know, to get there directly without cracking them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Demar wants to know. We got a couple questions again. Demar wants to know. I was wondering how to play fast notes with a clear sound, like in Mozart's flute concerto. So yeah, the G major and D major. Yeah, you have to play those fast notes. Those are.
Well, it depends. Like sometimes it's also linked to your articulation.
Yeah.
Like first, when you play
that.
that,
My gosh, so right.
When you play that, do you use double tonguing? It's very important that you use double tonguing because it's too fast to go ta 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 ta. It's too fast. So ta 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 ta. Yeah. And like there's that. So if your tonguing is not clear, you will think that it's your sound, but it might just be the attack of the note. You know, the start of that note. So there's that. Make sure that when you tongue, you understand that it's when you remove the tongue that the air starts. So it's not about when the tongue hits, but it's about when the tongue releases. You know?
Yeah.
So there's that. And keep a very steady embouchure. If you're playing detached or slurred, it shouldn't be seen outside. It's not... There's no movement like this. It's really... Nothing's moving. You can't see outside that I'm tonguing. So stable embouchure, and just inside there's this.
Yeah.
And even when, let's say you learn Mozart G major, and you do it very slowly in the beginning. Even if you're playing it slowly, practice it with double tonguing. Because if you practice it with single tonguing, you're not practicing your double tonguing. Then you're going to say, but my double tonguing is slower than my single. Yeah, but you never practice it, you know? So practice it right away with double tonguing. That would be my advice. So.
Yeah, I would say that too. And also, like, the one thing I remember with Mozart concertos is really get the articulations correct. You know, like the groupings and all that stuff, like, you know, ties and slurs, all those, get those exactly right. And try maybe do groupings, you know, groupings of like 2 bars or 1 bar, so you can really isolate those articulations. Because I always hear different people play with such different articulations all the time in the past. Like it would always be 2. I remember one time 2 people played out of the 3 the same concerto, and they both played it with different articulations, and it sounded like a totally different concerto. You know, I'm like, and obviously it's like probably the edition was different or whatever. So, you know, like just make sure you block them and feel confident in those in those articulations.
Sometimes they are.
Mozart's all about confidence.
Yeah. Sometimes they are the composer's articulations, and sometimes they are the editors. So if it's the editor's articulations, you can change them. Usually, most of older music, like classical, Baroque, usually you can put whatever you want. Classical, sometimes the composer puts some. So if you have a text version, usually those are only the articulations of the composer, so you can add your own as well. You don't have to do exactly as written also. If you feel it sounds better with a different one, like you said, just change them. Make them fit for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I made a just practicing of that concerto. Maybe go and watch it.
I think you did both of them. Yeah. There's a just practice. If you're not familiar with our just practicing series, we haven't done some in a while, but we've done a lot of them. So they're like basically full run throughs of how you would be practicing them. You know, some are quite long. I think the Mozart concerto one's 2 episodes. I think they're both like an hour and a half each of G major and
me practicing it.
Of you practicing it, yeah.
And I give some advice. Oh, I would practice it like this and all that stuff.
The sheet music is not on the screen, but like open up your score and follow along. You know, it could be a fun exercise. I know a lot of people have done that. I think that's one of our most famous ones, which is several thousand views. It's pretty amazing. What else do we got here? So if you have any questions, again, please be sure to jump in and let us know. But are there, like, I know there's some concertos you want to learn because you haven't learned them all. But like, is there a concerto that you would want to learn? I know that you might be doing maybe something contemporary with that orchestra.
Penderecki?
Not even Penderecki. Nice. I don't even think it's Penderecki. No? I think it's whatchamacallit's face, the guy who did Cassandra's Dream Song. What's his name? Because I know one of our colleagues is doing a whole entire thing about him, that composer.
Stockhausen?
No, it's an American, I think. Oh, it's gonna bother me, but that's okay. But anyways, he has a piece that's a concerto-like thing for small ensemble with flute, and it's intense beyond measure. Like it's.
Oh yeah. But
Cassandra's Dream Song is also very, very intense. But what about, Penderecki would be something you want to learn? Like, is that something?
Yeah, well, right now I'm going to learn probably some Vivaldi and stuff like that because I want to record it for the channel.
Dreaming-wise, like, are there some that you always wanted to play with orchestra?
Well. Maybe
we have so many.
a dream, like the flute and harp one. Mozart's flute and harp is so beautiful. Yeah. I would like to play that.
Okay.
I don't know. I would like to play anything with orchestra. I love playing with orchestra. You call me and tell me
learn
this for our orchestra and I'll learn it. So I throw that in the universe. So if you want me to play with your orchestra, ask.
Yeah. I know there's also like transcriptions. I know like here I just see over the shoulder Sicilian and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that are also orchestrated for orchestra. I think even Sicilian is an orchestral piece.
I think it was written for orchestra and then they
modified it so much because it was so popular.
Instrumental versions,
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. I know like
that's possible.
That's really possible. That would be cool to hear, like with orchestra and
as
colors
a solo,
like that. As a solo, or if you play in the orchestra, because I know there are flute parts, which are really interesting. What else was there? I had something on the top of my mind was well, I know we have La La Land's coming out. That's already been recorded. We also have a couple other little ideas of series that we're going to try to pursue. Also, the alto flute video is going to come out in a week or two. I sent out a little preview for people about that, which made people very excited. Nobody knows the brand yet or anything like that, which is very exciting, but it's the best pro level, cheapest flute. Like, it's crazy. So we're going to have your thoughts about that soon as well. Cool. And that's like a working project with those makers, and it's quite something else. But I know some people were trying to guess what it is, and people were like saying it's a altus or it's this or it's a that, and it's none of those. But it's very exciting because it's very exciting. Now we have 2 alto flutes, so we're going to be doing more alto flute stuff, and then soon we'll also be doing a bass flute review in the future.
Ooh, that's
in 2022, cool. Which is another, like, again, budget. bass flute, which is crazy. Like, like a sub maybe $2,000 bass flute, like that's pretty great for something that is repairable, that is built with fine components. You can take it to a shop, they'll fix it, you'll get it back, it's going to work well for you at your local shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they'll not just
It's
send it away.
repairable.
It's repairable completely.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But yeah, that's our goal, right? We want to try to get people to try all the flutes. Why not? Like if people really love alto flute, by all means, you shouldn't rip apart your budget.
Yeah.
Like if you can afford the higher ones, by all means, go to the Flute
Yeah,
Center
but
of New
it's,
York and buy it there and do your stuff. Same thing with bass, but like it's gonna be cool
It's good
exploring
to
all the
have,
harmony flutes.
To have options,
Yeah, and also all the harmony flutes, like they totally give completely different colors. It's a totally different instrument. Like a bass flute to a regular C flute is just.
Even the same note doesn't sound.
Oh
the
no,
same.
not at all.
It's not
something
in this. It's not at the same level in the register of that instrument. In
Right.
the amplitude of that instrument.
Right. Exactly.
And we were also thinking about maybe we'll see, maybe doing a flute festival, maybe this year, maybe next year.
Well, in 2022, most likely, I would like to. It'd be pretty good to do one in August when we come back from our tour and our residency, because all of July and all of end of June to mid-August, we're in Europe, so that's going to be that. But it would be good to come back maybe and do that, and it would be cool to see a lot of people who have been to the Flute Festival before, and we did it 3 times before.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a whole nice community come from all over the world, which was amazing, and like to see more new people too, and do a little bit different than before. Do more maybe just concert with you, and also maybe a student concert so people can play for each other in a concert setting, so people can experience that. And also more days just to kind of incubate all together about each and everybody's goals and try to work on them in masterclass and all that stuff. But again, it all depends on a lot of metrics, including COVID.
Yeah.
And all those things. But it could be getting better, which is a good thing. Yeah. So I don't think we have any other questions right now. So
I think people are sleeping. They went
yeah,
to bed
people are
late
sleeping.
yesterday.
Oh yeah, late. Oh my gosh. Everyone probably had really good dinners. Good dinners, and they fell asleep to watching movies or whatever, and that's important too. You got to do that. Yeah, or
In
parties.
places
Oh
where
yeah,
you can.
where you can. Yeah, exactly. Where you can party. But so this year was pretty good considering what we've been doing. Although it was really a full COVID year, we did everything digitally most of the time because we were in a digital thing. But we have an album hopefully going to be coming out soon too, maybe even 2. We're going to have some cool projects coming out so that you can help support the channel even more, which should be exciting. And that should be coming out, some previews about that soon. What do we got here? Oh, do you suggest that's another one we always get all the time. Jennifer Penna wants to know, how do you suggest a beginner flute player purchase?
What do you suggest
must-haves?
a beginner flute player?
Purchase must-haves. Okay. What
You
do you
mean the
suggest a
flute
beginner
or
flute
the
purchase?
things in general?
Oh, you mean like accessories, or what beginner flute should you start with? Maybe it's that. Well, let's take those two out of that question.
Okay.
If it's not that, be more concise, and we'll definitely re-answer that. But beginner flutes, you can go Yamaha series.
Yeah. I think you told me about
200, 300 series.
that flute.
Jean Paul?
Yeah, there's that.
Jean Paul's a
It's
great
pretty
Instrument.
Good.
Jean Paul's a great instrument company. We've
Yeah.
worked with them in the past.
It's impressive.
Jean Paul Wind
for
Instruments.
the price.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Do they make flutes? Roxanne bought one. It's what's the name of that company?
Nagahara, yeah.
No.
It's okay. And also accessories, I guess. You can go accessories thumb port. You can
Yeah,
go,
a thumb port can be a good
that
thing.
can help with you. There's also another device for your other hand. Oh no, it's still for the right hand, and that just basically fixes a little bit of your posture in your right hand, because a lot of people put their thumb underneath the pipe of the flute, around or just on underneath, and that doesn't really help with a lot of mobility and freedom
It's
in
just
the
that
hands.
the flute tends to rock back.
Yeah, so this
helps.
prevents a lot of
Yeah.
rocking back, and
Yeah, and then maybe our flute method or another flute method,
yeah.
so you have some type of methodology to learn.
Yeah, because you have to start. I know we have the internet and everything, we have our channel, but it is still very sporadic. Like there's methodologies online are very hard to follow because there's gaps,
Yeah.
and people don't know where to start, or people don't know where to come back from. Like say they take a break and they don't know where to restart
Or they
on.
don't necessarily know what's the next step, you know?
Because everyone's,
What's their level,
yeah.
what they can play, all that stuff. So I would say that, a method.
Yeah.
And if you can, a good teacher is a
Yeah.
good thing to have because we
everyone,
never see everything in ourselves, It's good to have an outside view and some help. So,
Yeah, because everyone's situation is really different. Like one person who took a break is different from another person who took a break because you don't know when each of them stopped at in their point of learning. So that's the thing with the internet. So we try to guide people as easily as possible through our methods and also through episodes like this and stuff like that.
Answering questions and
exactly. So. A beginner flute player, those are all purchases you can do. It's a flute port, or I don't even think they call it that. They call it like a thumb port, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thumb port. Sorry, maybe that's what you said. You said thumb port. And then beginner flutes you can get Yamaha 200 series, 300 series, Jean Paul. Those are all very nice budget flutes that are going to last you quite a while and are repairable. 200 series, 300 series, they're repairable. They're cheap to repair too, which is great for budget as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you will hit a plateau eventually. Maybe not. Maybe you'll just keep playing and just love it.
People hit a plateau and they want to get a better flute.
Yeah, and then at that point, you go
figure out that when you get there.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't need to make a whole pre-plan of how your flute life is going to be. You know what I mean? That just doesn't.
You'll know
work.
when you get there if you get there.
Exactly. So yeah. Were there any other little final things that you want to kind of bring up, or? Well, first, if you have any questions, any dire questions, let those in the comments here. But before that, we're just going to mention a couple things that we have for you to be available, which is like our our store, which is our merch store, not our books, but our shirts, our hats, our poster. Our poster sold very well this past month, as well as like a new water bottle that we have. It's a Happy Practicing water bottle. That's been selling quite well. It looks like there's not many delays on shipments, which is really good. So you can go to store.theflutechannel.com, and that's where our store is for our merch. And you can get our fingering poster, all those things. They're amazing. We have a lot of those types of things there. We also have Musigy, which is where our bookstore is, and our sheet music and stuff like that. So you can go to musogy.com. And that's where you can help support us there by purchasing the method or purchasing some sheet music. And what else do we got? We also have Patreon, patreon.com/the flute channel. If you can't do any of those things, but you want to, help us on a monthly basis, you can tip us $2 a month or more. And that goes directly to us and helps us with producing more stuff. And
if you buy a flute with the flute channel,
of course, Flute Center of New York. That's our last one. Yeah, for sure.
Use our code TFC.
Exactly.
And it helps us out as well. And you get some perks from it. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win-win. All those details are usually in the description below this video or in the podcast description as well, so you can check those things out. They're all flutists there, so don't hesitate to either call them or leave them an email and discuss all what you want, and then they have every flute that will meet your needs, and then you can have those flutes sent to you in the U.S. I believe in the U.S. it's free for 10 days. You get free shipping, but I don't know about worldwide. But check all that stuff in the below. Yeah, they'll tell everything there. But you can try up to 3 to 4 flutes.
Call them, they'll tell you.
You can try a couple flutes, that's for sure. And you get 10 days to try them out.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. And I think they're open. I don't know if they're open during the holidays, but again, shoot them an email. They'll tell you their hours and stuff like that. And their inventory is pretty impressive. Is there anything else? Lessons, it's pretty full right now for lessons. So
yeah, we're pretty full for lessons right now.
Thanks for all the appreciations about all the holiday music. Yeah, Hark the Herald Sing. We did a bunch of things in December, which was great. We did some holiday tunes.
Yeah, that was
Those
fun.
are all cool. Those are all actually from Tom Play. So if you go to Tom Play, you can also check out the links in the description. Those are all affiliate links for us now. They don't work yet until the 31st. So if you want to hold out and wait until the 31st, you can start doing those affiliate links, because now we are working with them to have a whole entire affiliate thing that gathers up all the links for there. Tomplay is an amazing software, and like what I said about those Christmas tunes, if you buy a subscription there, you get access, I believe, to all the instruments. You don't just get subscription just to flute. So with these ones, we took string
Violin,
arrangement,
huh?
string quartet arrangements, and you just played the violin part, which was pretty adaptable, completely adaptable, as everyone could see. And there are arrangements for quartet and for orchestra, all those things you can play with a full orchestra, and it's pretty amazing in that regard.
Yeah.
So you can try those.
Yeah, we did a couple of violin pieces too.
Of course,
and stuff.
Mendelssohn we've
Sometimes we
done.
just change the octave in a couple of spots, and that's it.
Yeah, you can also take piano pieces too, and just take the left hand and play the flute on the left hand, and have the right hand. You can actually turn off the left or right hand of those piano pieces, and you can play.
So you should usually you should play the right hand.
Right hand, sorry, right hand. That's what I meant. Yeah, I had them in reverse. And
Except
yeah,
if the person was playing,
doing that. Yeah, and there's like four hands
them.
exactly, crossing the hands. Yeah, because like and there's four hands. There's so much stuff on Tomplay. So that's TOMPLAY.com, and they usually have a lot of good deals every month or every couple months, and usually they have season sales too for every season. Like 30% off your subscription for the year or something like that. You should go and definitely check those things out as well. God, we have too many things.
Yeah.
And it all helps us out. So thanks again, everybody. Again, just be sure to also leave a review over at Apple Podcasts or even on Spotify now. Spotify does now have reviews. So you can now review this podcast over on Spotify. If you're listening to it on Spotify, you can leave a 5-star review, I think. I think there's 5 stars. Or it's thumbs up or thumbs down.
As many stars as you can.
As you can. And we do have comments. We do have lots of people writing reviews. I don't have them out right now. I wish I did. I was going to read one to you. But they're all very positive and all very super nice. And we're going to definitely start doing that in January, which is on the last Sunday of every month.
That's our
goal. That's our
resolution of the year.
resolution. So own us. It's up to you guys to leave them for us, and then we're gonna do it. And if we don't, you tell us in the comments.
Hey, resolution, guys.
Hey, you gotta tell us.
Get your act together.
Yeah, you gotta say those reviews for us. But all the people who have already have done amazing things, and it's put us up further for more visibility, which has improved a lot over this past year. A lot of people have been listening to. A lot of people have been listening to the podcast via your favorite podcast app. So be sure to go and subscribe to us to any of them, and also leave us a 5-star review. Thanks so much, everybody.
Yeah, have a good end of this year.
Yeah, and Happy New Year to everybody, because we'll be saying, we'll say it now instead of the last Sunday of January, where after
Happy
3
New
weeks,
Year.
the window's already gone. The window's already gone for
Good.
New Year's. So cool. Thanks, everybody, so much. Happy practicing, and see you.